Like, so nobody has ever once asked me, hey, how far can those things go? How much do those things cost? Why would you go electric over gas? Since nobody asked me those things, let's talk about them. With me. Let's start with our baby Sur here. This is an electric. It's called the Lightbee X. And the Sur Lightbee X is really kind of your starter in the world. They came out in the late teens here. Almost nobody had them, but then after the pandemic, everybody kind of awoke. Their price doubled, and suddenly people like me are picking these up left and right. Now I love this thing. And you go, well, but it's like your slowest, it's your smallest, yeah. But you know what's great about these? They're trail riders. They're silent. People don't mind as long as when you see somebody go like 15 miles an hour, chill the fuck out. Other than that, yeah, people don't mind. And then when you see some dirt or some jumps or kids at a playground that want you to do a wheelie, like this is your thing, man. And it's delightful to ride. It's just so small. It's so light. They go for a very long time because they're really not overtaxed. This one is stock, believe it or not. However, it's got a lot of purple on it. That's my girl's bike. Slash, I probably ride it more. All right, I probably ride this bike more than her. So I've got the raised handlebars, etc. And it's got all new suspension and wheels and tires thanks to my really bad accident about 3 months ago on this bike that crushed this bike and most of the left side of my body. But anyways, that's a whole different video. And this is the Ultra. Now, the Ultra is one step up. And I remember thinking at the time, my God, this thing is huge. It is enormous. I got on, I go, am I ever going to be able to really ride this thing? Now it just seems like my mid-ground baby doll. And I'm turning it into a hybrid adventure bike. You can see I've got like pannier bag mounts on it now. Those are actually from Sur, believe it or not. I've got lights, I've got everything, I've got all that, but this one has been fully upgraded from the motor to the motor controller and to the battery, which is a 6.5 kilowatt battery now, which matches literally the battery on this Varg. And this Varg is fastest dirt bike in the world, still to this day. And this Varg was made for motocross. Now, I've turned mine more into a mountain bike. I've recently been doing some motocross. I love this bike, but it was the very first of its generation about 2 years ago. This, on the other hand, dun, dun, dun. Next generation, EX. Love the EX because they made it street legal. And they kind of went, I can't call it hybrid, but I call it hybrid in the sense that it's enduro / motocross. They just basically took that, loosened up the suspension quite a bit. They made it a lot softer, and then they fixed a bunch of shit, such as, this display, and they had to integrate, lights and turn signals and all that cool, fun stuff, right? Great, love this bike. But there's still key problems with it, such as a kickstand I've had to weld several times. A motor that is now dead and burns out because it doesn't like apparently running on the highway, even though it is a street legal bike. It's going to the shop this Friday. I still love this bike, but we've got some learnings to do. And that's what we can talk about are those differences, right? But why does this work? This works because it's dirt. That's the big key difference here. It's dirt biking. And in dirt biking, you don't need to go 100 miles an hour. You need to go maybe max 80. So when we're talking about electrics, and we're talking about having maximum control, when you have electrics, your biggest benefit is the fact that you don't have to shift gears. You don't have a clutch. You don't have to waste time. You don't have to think about this gear, that gear. Where am I going? Do I need to be second or third out of that turn? Do I want to be fifth fucking going off that jump? It's irrelevant now. And that allows you to free up your handlebars. Your handlebars now have brakes on them on both sides. So you've got your front and you've got your rear on the handlebars. And that actually rocks. Everybody says, oh my God, you'll get used to it real fast, trust me. But look, you get a huge amount of control. I mean, you know how it is with a front brake, right? Your front brakes, I mean, you could just do it so you can endo up and just like a champ, right? Well, now think about that with your back brake. It's not just locking it up and sliding. Yeah, I love doing that. And I love a good foot brake for that. But that's about all they're good for, guys. Honestly, I mean, that's my opinion. But when you go to electric and you ride these for long enough, you realize the major benefits of having nothing to do with your feet other than stay on the fucking bike. It's lovely. And so that frees up. Your handlebars is where everything's at. I mean, you've got your throttle, you've got your front, you've got your rear, and you've got your interface that you might be focused on for either directions or speed, or maybe you don't care and you just take it off. That's fine too. But it doesn't matter, right? You can still control these things with or without that phone. So that's another thing. People think, oh my God, do I need the phone? It does come with the Stark phone, and I love the Stark phones. They're sweet. But do I always ride with the Stark phone? No, not at all, especially not with this one. This is the motocross version, the original MX, and there's no need to really have the display. Do I need to know how fast I'm going? No, I can feel how fast I'm going, right? So that's fine with me. This one, on the other hand, the problem is they won't let me reprogram it. And if I can't reprogram it, then when I do things like change gear ratio, tires, wheels, and such, as I have clearly, it doesn't register the correct speed. So it makes it kind of useless. I really do need the display. So there are some downsides here. Now, is that an actual downside? That's obviously a logical downside, right? They could fix that if they wanted to. They could provide me with that code if they wanted to. I know their sport race team, they get that code. They can change their gear ratio. Why can't I change the gear ratio? I got too far. Anyways, I'll stop my rant. But that's that. And to give you an example of a beautiful, wonderful, but goddamn awful gas bike is this Yamaha 750. That is this is a V-twin with a dual carb configuration. And while I love this bike because it's actually my girlfriend's bike, it's not even mine. We got it for her because look how low this thing sits. She's about 5 feet tall and she can ride this like a champ, right? This is a sweet bike for a small dude or chick, or frankly, I kind of like riding this. You know, it's like the baby run over here. I actually really enjoy having something lighter and nimble between my thighs. Don't even go there. But this one's a bitch with the dual carbs. I mean, it's been sitting here for probably 3 years, maybe not right here, but several garages. I keep saying, hey, honey, you maybe should go out there and, I want to give her a chance to get it going because last time I tried it failed miserably, things like that. But I hate working on this thing. Now, in comparison, there's not much to do here. Okay, yeah, this motor fried on this one. But look, if I got to pop this out, I mean, I kid you not, this entire body, this unibody construction, it comes off with about 5 screws. And then you just literally slip the whole thing off. I can pop out the radiator very easily. I can change the fluids on it. This entire component is ultimately what I'm going to need. So I'm taking it to the shop here, and hopefully they'll just replace this under warranty and everything will be fine. If not, I'm going to owe them probably $3,500. And then I guess I won't be buying any more Vargs. But, that's how life goes when you experiment with shit. But she's a beauty, isn't she? They should cover me, though. I mean, come on. Now, to cost. Yeah. What did this bad girl cost me? And what did that bad girl cost me? Anywhere from 12 to 15, to be honest. I mean, you got to get them sent from Spain. You got to pay this and that. This one costs the most because I had to make it street legal. And that took a lot of time, money. I got to register this. That's a few $100. And then you got to pay this fee and that. And I had to pay a goddamn fee for it being electric. They're like, well, we don't get any money then because when you pay the gas tax, we don't get that. So now we're just going to charge you another fee because you don't use gas. I'm like, okay. And so you got to pay that fee. And so it's not as cheap as it looks. And then, I had to figure out where to put a license plate, of course, and all that fun stuff. And then, when you get pulled over, you got to try to explain this goddamn thing, right? And they're like, I don't know what that is. That's 2025. They don't still. And it sadly, you might run into one guy that knows what it is. But usually they're on the back of my truck or I get pulled over on them. They're like, so what is that, boy? I'm like, this electric motorcycle. I'm like, is that legal? I go, absolutely not, sir. I'll go home right now. And then they let you on. Just basically capitulate immediately. Just, no, I'm out, bro. I'm sorry. I'm really bad. And I was on test ride. Just slip before you realize what's even happened. Just let me go, man. That's cops. At least in Colorado. They're like, you're just going to kill yourself, dude. Thank you. Thank you very much for that, by the way, because that's exactly what you should think. Because I don't know about you. I haven't looked at the stats, But I don't believe there's a whole lot of hit and runs on motorcycles where some pedestrian was crossing the crosswalk and they just took him the fuck out in wheelie mode, right? You know, like, get over, bitch. I don't think that happens. I'm pretty sure that doesn't happen. So I'm happy about that. And, excuse me, Lightning makes the fastest street bikes that are electric ever to exist. And honestly has since, I think, 2012, very early. So if you really want the fastest thing ever, it's Lightning. They haven't even changed the model, believe it or not. This is the Lightning goes, 212 or something, 230. I mean, it's just stupid and silly fast. And it's an amazing bike, and it's right up there with the Ninja, with the ZX4, the supercharged gas. I mean, boom. I think they're head-to-head in stats, something like that. Nuts. Now, do I want a Ninja ZX? Yes, I do. Please send me one. I don't know who I'm talking to when I say that, but please send me one. I'd ride that fucking shit all day. But I want to see. Yeah, I mean, can it compare? And speaking of which, a Lightning, yeah, please send me one of those. I think that's cheaper than that. It is. You're like talking 60 grand versus 40 grand. So now let's look at prices. Let's go through the range here. This is the latest one. We're going to say because we had to register this and all. This is the Stark Futures VARC EX model. Call it the 1.2, but for EX it's the 1.0. The 1.2 MX looks just like this and that merged. This is the 1.0. Okay, so price here, call it 15. Price here, 13. Price on the middle grade, 6,500 actually. That's it. But that's stock. This is not stock. You know how much that battery costs? $3K. You know how much that motor costs? $1,500. And the controller, we'll just tap on another $1,500 right there for that electric motor controller. There you go. Wheels, tires, all that fun stuff, right? So now you're talking, you've doubled the price, easy. And this custom now is right up there with my VARCs. And I gotta say, it's my baby. This is my baby. This is my beautiful, beautiful baby. This is my experimental bike. This one has never failed me either. Unlike, and you know, when it overheats, it tells me that it's going to. It lowers. It has a great logic in that Torp controller. I love Torp. They did not pay me to say that. Please do. But there's my Soshin motor. I don't know who makes Soshin. I'll give you a great story though. When I first got it, I had a problem with it. I couldn't find the instructions of the wiring, so I found who I thought made the Soshin motor, which was a small engineering company out of the United States, and I yelled at them hard. And they came back and they're like, dude, it's made in China. We don't make this Ocean motor. I apologize so hard. I was like, oh my God. I am so sorry I ripped you guys a new asshole about not providing instructions. Right? So that's like most things. That's like a Ocean. You ain't getting the support. If this thing dies, you're so that's that motor, which is why I like Torp. I love Torp. Didn't I just say that? I love Torp. Please send me free stuff. And I want the Torp TM50 series motor because they got a new TM50 that is liquid cooled. The TM50 Pro goes along with this bad girl that will make it as fast as these bad girls. Yes. As soon as I can get my hands on that motor, this girl who weighs, I mean, the motor's going to add 20 pounds, but let's just say to what it is now, 80 pounds, 50 to 80 pounds lighter than these two girls on this frame. Now, to be fair, it has stock suspension on it, and stock suspension sucks balls on a Sur-Ron Ultra, and that needs to be replaced. Would that make it a little bit heavier? Yeah. Would it make it that much heavier? No. So this thing basically would be ultra light, ultra stable. Could be liquid cooled as well with that TM50 Pro, right? And then we're talking about performance at these levels, less weight, more manageable, more configurable, more maintainable, my own custom config. And then we're starting to talk about some real performance here. Let's talk about the baby. So this is Baby Ron. Hi, Baby Ron. Baby Ron's a Light BX. We're talking like a 60 volt system. They are commonly upgraded to 72. with new motors and batteries, and they're amazing because they're very, very light. They're very small, but as you see on this one, I've upgraded the suspension on this to something different because I completely bent the other one. That's a different video. And then I went with the huge front 21 wheel. I think this is what, a 2119, something like that. Anyways, got a good deal on these through Luna after I hit, we'll call it cement wall. And they're fantastic. I love hitting curbs with these huge front wheels and going rock climbing. And I don't know why everybody doesn't run a really huge front wheel. It does get a little weird, high speed. But if you're running, if you're rock climbing and mountain and single track, dude, it's been great. I love this setup. So this guy's slow. It's still stock, but what a fun bike. Worth every penny in about these days. I mean, if in this config, call it 6 or something, I guess, because you upgraded suspension, but stock $4,000, $4,500. Get them used maybe in the threes. They're awesome. But the Ultra's really, if you're a full-size man, maybe, this is really what you're looking for is an Ultra. An Ultra is, it's supposed to be in between, and it is in between, but honestly, man, over the years, I've upgraded the tires, the wheels. I've got them as wide as I could, right? See that? I mean, it is coming real close to a Varg. So would it be better than a Varg is the question. Yes. And I'll tell you why. I'm not happy with the motors. I burned one out. This one's dead. You think, oh my God, that's awesome. These aren't liquid cooled. Dude, no, these are dry as shit. So this is liquid cooled. You would think there's no way I'm killing this bitch. There's no way. So there's that. So it's got a cooling issue, and that's a serious issue. Software is another issue. Well, I don't have the display on this now, or this. I like to take them off and just charge them on the side because I don't get back to these bikes sometimes for a couple of weeks. And the display can't be modified. It doesn't tell me anything about the temperature of the motor or anything about anything, frankly, other than my speed, where I went. It also gives me a great indication of my total airtime during my trip, which is sweet. But you know what? I'd give up airtime all day long for, my goddamn motor temperature. The other thing that I don't like is the rear brake. Rear brakes are dead to me. Dead. See this thing? Dead to me. It's dead. I don't need it, don't want it. That is dead. Because I thought on this bike, let's get the rear brake on the foot. I've been a biker my whole life. Cool. I'm used to it. It'll be great. It's awful. And you know why? Well, you have less control, right? With the handbrake, you have the fine level of control, right? This is a very macro versus micro level of control, which is great if you're like me and you just like to crush it and you slam it down and slide. You're like, oh, I'm so cool. You're not. But that's about all it's good for, is like, holy shit moments, right? You put it up on the top with electrics and suddenly it's a whole new world. And you got a brake up here, and that's how my MX is. And that's how, frankly, all of my other bikes are. That's one of the best things about an electric bike. Brakes up top, nothing at your feet, one gear. One gear. In this case, I have one gear that goes 0 to 88 miles an hour very, very quickly. And then there's this bad girl. And on the street, and geared like this, it can do 105. However, it can only do 105 for just a small amount of time before it apparently creates fusion inside of its motor. And you just have like a molten copper core in there instead of... Yeah.